Hey, welcome to another video from the Outdoor Analyst. Today, I've got a super fun one for you. This is going to be my top 10 knives of the year that are fixed blades. This is exciting for me because this year's been a complete change. It's been a big change. Normally, I like bigger fixed blades. I like to go on adventures. Mostly, I'm kind of doing woods work, adventure trips, and then a lot of just woods work, campfires, family stuff, camping, and you know, just good camp knives. So good mix, and I'm in the Midwest. So what does that mean? That means we have every type of weather, and usually most of it's to all of the extremes. Sometimes it gets colder here than it does in the North Pole, which has happened before. And it also gets more humid than you can imagine down in the worst versions of Florida. And we get some wild rains. It's a big mix of everything. So take that with a grain of salt. When I say these are my top 10 fixed blades, these are the top 10 knives that I've used and enjoyed throughout the year. Doesn't mean they're the best, doesn't mean I got them this year. Some of these are going to be the same as they were last year. And a lot of things have changed. I thought I was going to be on the bigger side of knives this year just because it is really cold. There was a lot of woods processing to do, a lot of trailing to do. And you know what, to be honest, a lot of that was done with an actual little hatchet here. This is the Grant's First Brooks Outdoors axe. It's kind of like a small axe, bigger than a hatchet, smaller than a boy's axe. It's a great thing to just carry with you and beat the death out of. I mean, this thing has been re-sharpened, re-profiled, chipped. It's done a lot. Pretty crazy. I love this thing. So that's kind of why you're going to see a lot smaller knives. It's because that's what I've tended to use more. Just because that's where I'm at this year with family, with the adventure trips I'm on. So I'm just going to start with an honorable mention. I really struggled. My number 10 and my honorable mention here is going to be interchangeable. But the truth is that I used the other one for field dressing a little bit, so I've gotta love it a little more this year. My number, well, not number, but this is going to be honorable mention. It's the Bark River 1.25 LT in 3V. This is just one of the best camp knives out there, and it gets a decent amount of use. I'm just going to say honorable mention this year. It's a great knife. Yeah, it's Bark River, so you may have to order 3, send 2 back to get a good one, but that it is what it is. This is a great knife. Full height grind convex. Really good at just about everything. One of my favorite camp knives. So good. Now, breaking into number 10. And honestly, this knife can be interchanged with a lot of other ones, but you know, it did such a good job on my 7-point deer this year. Boop, boop, boop. Yep. I just loved it. I did most of the field dressing with this Bark River Gunny Hunter in CPM 154. Now, this is, to me, the EXT 1 from Bark River and this knife are almost identical. They're just about the same to me. Handle's very similar. Blade's a little more drop point. An EXT1. If I get something fancy, I'll do that. This was such a good field dresser this year. You know what my favorite part was? Is this knife was just covered in gore for about a week, just because I hadn't got to cleaning it. And CPM 154, see any stains? Nope. I haven't even like done anything special to this besides just soap and water to get all the blood and guts off. That's joyous, but you know, field dressing's field dressing. This knife is excellent. If you're looking for a field dressing knife, this is great. I will make one suggestion. I'm in the Midwest. This handle material really blends in. If you want to have some pop of liners, it might be worth it. Why do I say that? Because you set your knife down a few times. You know, for me, you gotta go grab a saw. You gotta go to town on Bambi. And finding it is I'm very methodical now when where I do things and how I do all my field dressing. But that's something to note. If you're new or even not, you know, this thing gets lost in the leaves so well. Thank goodness it's covered in blood. Makes it easier to find. That sounds terrible, but it's the truth. So, do I love this knife? Absolutely. If you're going to get one for field dressing, maybe put a pop of color on there. It's just useful. It just really is. But this knife's great. Number 10. You know, it did so well field dressing. It's done a buffalo, now a good whitetail. It's excellent. Love this knife. Number 9. This is going to be my only dedicated true wood knife, like just straight for wood. This is a Scandi. This is an LT Wright Jesmi. This is I think this is my oldest Jesmi. And you can see, man, this thing's it's a nice burlap. Been around the woods for years and years, and it's done such a good job. This Scandi, it's got the ulu blade shape, and if you've never used this on wood, this shape in a Scandi from LT Wright and CPM 3V is just glorious. I just put another edge on this, well, stropped it up, got a real nice edge on there. This thing's just phenomenal. I love it. Scallops are great. For doing wood, I love burlap. It's kind of lightweight, so it's easy to travel as well. It's not like a super, super heavy knife. Really enjoy that about burlap handles, and they're very durable, very, very durable. I really do enjoy that. I don't care about the weather that the handle material goes in. It just works. You probably need to polish the brass a little bit, but oh well. You know, it is what it is. It gets a little corrosive after a while. That's good patina right there. So number 9, LT Wright Jesmi, such a great knife. And honestly, my top 5 are the easiest to do. Everything after, they're just so hit and miss because they're all really good as well. But let's see, that's 9, this is 8. This is just one of my favorite classics. This is a gift from my father. Actually, so was the Gunny Hunter, and that's why I just love them so much. This is the Bark River Tundra in CPM 3V. Another incredible camp knife. This thing is so good. It's very ergonomic to my hands. I love this handle. It's really big, and I love that it mostly has a guard up here that doesn't hit you with metal. It's kind of rare. Most of these have more metal up here. You're dealing with more of the actual blade / handle than the guard. But this does a really good job, which allows me to enjoy woodworking with it, camp work, cutting meat, cutting steaks. The Canadian blade is just really good. It's kind of like not a Scandi-Vex, goodness gracious, a Saber Vex, because it has a little bit of a flat up top here, and then goes down from there. I really like that because it splits wood out really well, and it's just a beautiful knife, absolutely beautiful knife. Had it for years. Was my main woodworking knife for quite a bit of time. Just a great knife. All right, that is number 8. So number 7. Number 7. This is the biggest surprise of the year for me. This is Fiddleback Forge. Now, Fiddleback Forge has great fit and finish. What they generally have also are very small, very thin handles, very small knives. That's fine, totally fine. They have some bigger ones out there. This is, I believe, the old school ladyfinger, and it's an A2. And I wasn't expecting to love this knife as much as I did because I got it because it's one of the thicker handled versions they have, and it's still thin. And it's kind of a small knife. It's an A2, and this thing surprised me. Surprised me a lot. I didn't think it'd be so comfortable doing feather sticks. I didn't think it'd be so good just in the camp doing food. It's very thin on the edge. It's very well done. This is a very slicey knife. It is excellent. Love the color. I almost took this hunting, but it was A2, and I just knew where I'm at. I wasn't going to be cleaning stuff for a long time. So it was just some work. I knew it was going to be a lot of work involved, and I didn't take it with me. Maybe next year we'll do this. It's not a drop point. It's more almost like it feels like almost like nearly a chef's knife, but that's the biggest shock. I didn't think I was going to love this knife, and here it is, number 7. It's so lightweight. This is it's a burlap as well, I think, or maybe it's Oreo micarta. It's very lightweight. Yellow liners. It's just so good. It's just so good. Good fit and finish. So slicey. Fiddleback Forge always has done great stuff. They've usually just never made it to my list because, they're a little small. Usually not fit in my hands, but this one's just money. Just absolute money. Super ergonomic. What a great knife. If you haven't looked into them, Fiddleback Forge is pretty awesome. Number 6 here. Number 6, I feel lucky to get this. This was a knife I almost bought years ago, and then it disappeared. This is an LT Wright GNS in blue maple. And these were on, I think these were on DLT and Knife Ship Free for a while. I thought the blue maple was beautiful. I couldn't afford it at the time. And they all just finally disappeared. This popped up like a year later on a DLT special. It didn't have a sheath, so I think somebody bought it, returned it, didn't like it. Got it for a great discount. I never bought this because I didn't like the liners at the time. Now I kind of love them. But this knife is great. The G&S has a very ergonomic handle. Now for my hands, if I could say one thing, I wish it had double thick liners, then it'd be probably perfect for me, and it'd probably be up there top 3. But A2 steel, nice saber grind, fairly thin at the edge. This is an incredible camp knife. Just a great camp knife, great all-around knife. I've enjoyed using this year, mostly around the house. I took it on like one trip with me. Just excels, just absolutely excels. Just about everything. And you can kind of see the knives I'm doing now and kind of like loving are more all-arounders. My number one, you'll just be like, wow, yeah, he's definitely changed. He's more of an all-around knife blade shape guy. But the saber grind, super good. LT Wright, just perfection. My favorite knife brand by far. They're not the top knife this year. Ooh, I've already done a shocker. But it is so good. They're still my favorite knife brand. They're amazing. Love the guys. So good. Number 6. All right, number 5 was a knife brand that I got back into. I have always had Falk & Evens around, but I never thought there'd be something special enough for me to really jump back in to get more than the A1, S1, and F1. The Embla from them. Oh, this knife is basically a super special F1. An amazing wood, and lamb COS. This was going to be my field dressing knife this year, but I got out there, got in the field, and I'll tell you, I used 2 knives. The Bark River is my main one. And the truth is, my dad gave me that as a gift, and I just was out there. I was like, you know what? I'd rather do something that's a little more sentimental. It'll mean more to me. It was a beautiful buck. Beautiful 7-pointer. I've actually been just having some bunch of steaks today for lunch and yesterday for dinner. So good. So good. You can't beat fresh meat. Fresh, healthy meat. Corn and pumpkin fed. So good. But this knife is basically a souped up version of the Falk & Even F1. The Embla is gorgeous. Desert ironwood handles. Done so well. So ergonomic. And it's like a square. It's the most ergonomic square for my hand. It's a blade I love. I've loved using this knife out in the woods, in the backyard. Oh, it's just done so well. Didn't get to Bambi with it this year. Just, yeah, I couldn't give up the honor to it. I know that sounds weird, but it is what it is. That's just who I am. But a beautiful knife. Beautiful knife. I love it. Every time I pull it out, it puts a smile on my face. Every time I use it, I'm even more surprised at how much just awesome that knife is. Okay, we are breaking into the top 4 now. This is, yeah, I think this fits 4. Top 4, honestly, the top 5 are almost nearly interchangeable. They're so good to me. This blade shape is just something I really love. This is the Bark River EXT2, is it Skinner? It's a Jason Thorne specialty, DLT specialty. Jason Thorne made this design. As soon as I saw him create this thing, I wanted it. I tried to get the demos. I couldn't, just because I knew it was going to be such a good knife. I've had this on quite a few adventures, and yeah, Bark River, you know, it doesn't match up. Does LT Wright? Yeah, they do. It's fine. This was pretty well put together. That's why I kept it around. It's a beautiful knife. It's a beautiful knife. It has a great convex edge on it. 3V, done well. I've taken this kayaking quite a few times and done some good bonfires. Man, beautiful knife. It has a good kind of aggressive look to it. I really just love this. I really love the Poe shape. It's so cool. It's so useful too. Not the best at field dressing. It's not a drop point, but totally doable. Totally doable. I have no problem doing that with this whatsoever. I just haven't. Didn't fit the bill, but awesome knife. It has been really good for me, and I highly suggest them. I know they're exclusive. They're not going to be around. Probably never do another run of them, but absolutely amazing. All right, here's another DLT exclusive. Guess you know where I like to shop. LT Wright. Gosh, I actually just forgot the name of this. Outback, here it is. Outback. This is kind of like my Christmas knife for this year. I've had it for a few months. Actually quite a few months. It's so good. It's my number 3. It is just a beautiful knife. It's the handle of the G&S with the blade of the Genesis. This is going to be their saber grind, and it's so nice. Just so nice. It's not the thinnest at the edge, which makes it really, it's a very tough knife for me. I feel great about just using this. Just beautiful. I just love what they did with the liners on here. Green micarta, and then the burlap. It's just a Christmassy knife. Just says Christmas to me, and I absolutely love this thing. This is probably my 3rd or 4th Outback. Man, it's just so good. My goal this year is kind of just like to upgrade the handle materials to something I really enjoy using and looking at for LT Wrights, and I feel lucky I've been able to do that. My blue maple GNS, and now this is just next level goodness. Number 2, this is going to be where it gets difficult and kind of the shocker. This knife, I think, was my number 1 last year. Maybe not, but it is also an LT Wright Surprise GNS full flat. This thing is so thin. This was a custom from them. It's one of the specialties. Was it 12 Days of Christmas drops from DLT last year, the year before? And I've just loved this knife. I've just absolutely loved it. It's been so good to me. It's good at everything. The full flat has really, this knife has opened my mind to liking this grind. It's so thin that it's able to feather super well, and it's so good at camp chores because it's so thin. And the handle is just super ergonomic. I did not think it would be, and it got me into the Genesis. Only thing I'm missing is a Scandi Genesis for wood. Just straight up woods work, and I think I'd be set. But man, this knife is great. It puts a huge smile on my face every single time I bring it out. So good. A2 steel. It's just beautiful. Now, my number 1 is a little shocking. I didn't think it'd be my number 1, but it just gets used so much. And I'll be honest, it's because of the steel. The steel choice and the sheath for me have allowed me to take this knife on so many adventures and so many outings because I don't have to worry about it. Worked on my deer this year with it. This is the Papa Bear Knives Essential in Magna Cut. I think this is the 4th version, and I just can't put this knife down. I can't stop using it. Is it the most ergonomic? It's not. It's a little thin, but it's super ergonomic, and it super works well for me. And I can't put it down. I can't stop using it. I love the look of it. Yeah, kind of reminds me of Christmas again. Got some good Christmas greens. Beautiful liners. Man. And Magna Cut, man, this thing has been so good to me. I love the edge retention of Magna Cut and the strength out of it. Yeah, just covered in blood and gore for days. Yep, no problemo. Has this been covered in sap for months? Yep. No rusting, no pitting, and it's almost as tough as 3V, but not quite. And it's super stainless, almost completely stainless. How can you beat that? I take this knife kayaking, I take this knife fishing, I take it hunting. It goes everywhere. It goes to the backyard. If I know if I got to do some work, man, this thing is fine. I used to think my LT Wrights were just number 1, but this is so useful. I just can't not, I hate double negatives, put that as my number 1 for the year, because it really has been. So Papa Bear Knives, man, just out of the park with this. I love this blade shape, this beautiful saber. Oh, man, it's good. Man, it's good. It just cuts so well. It does so well with wood, camp work. Bambi does very good with Bambi. Now, granted, I didn't do the stomach work with this just because it's not a super drop point. Pulled out the bark river for that. Just knew it. It was a big, super, super thick deer. I didn't want to mess with that. It was going to be gross if there was an issue. So, anyway, no one needs to know that, but that's what it was. This knife is just awesome. The Essential from him, probably my favorite design. I had the Hunter's EDC. It almost made an honorable mention because I used it for fishing so much this year. You know what? It's right next to me. Throwing it out there. Honorable mention. The sheath is crazy, but this knife, I just used 80 CRV2 on this one, whereas this is Magna Cut. It's so thin and light. This package just goes with me a lot of fishing. And it's also a super thin, slicey knife. Ooh. Yeah, okay, I should have put this in honorable mention. It is now. Anyway, Papa Bear Knives. And I think he just changed his name. I saw that. No, I'm not sure. It's still PBK. It's Primitive Bear Knives, something like that. Very cool. You know, we all have issues with names and trademarks and all that stuff, but I still think it's PBK. Papa Bear Knives. It still shows up that way online, so check them out. Cool website, cool maker, custom maker. So you're not gonna find crazy amounts of knives on there all the time, but man, they're good. They're good. Custom knives for basically the price of just a LT Wright or Bark River is pretty freaking cool. And when they come that good, I've just absolutely loved it. Just absolutely love this knife. It's hard to say much more about it besides its perfection. Ergonomic awesomeness. Very similar to last year. Last year was a Winkler belt knife, and I got rid of that just because it was too thick behind the edge. This year I wanted something that was good at everything, not just an absolute tank. I don't need a tank. I'm not going out there and digging holes with my knife. I'm not doing trench work. So I don't need that crazy thick edge. I want a slicey edge. I wanted to do a little bit of everything, and this knife has absolutely excelled. So there it is. That's my top 10 for the year. I hope you enjoyed them. All of them are incredible. Any one could be your top knife of the year. For me, they all could be. I'd be happy with any one of those as my main knife completely, and my only knife. That's how awesome they are. I feel lucky. I've moved my collection down. I think I had a video back in the day where I had like 60 knives. Easily cut that in half. Definitely more than that, I think. So pretty much just kept maybe 15 nice ones, and the rest are just kind of, the knives that you're not going to be able to sell, or they're gifts. Actually, half the nice ones are gifts too, so keep that with a grain of salt. They're not going anywhere. But yeah, daggone good year for knives. It's a great time to enjoy good outdoors tools, and not just use your stuff. That's why I've just tried to cut back and have just knives that I really enjoy for specific uses. Because I don't need that many. Nobody needs that many. Nobody even needs 10. I got 11, or I just showed 12, for goodness sakes. You only need a couple of those. They're all amazing. So anyway, no need to just be greedy and keep collecting. I'd say even cut down. I hope I cut down to 10 or less next year. I really do. That'd be awesome. Just perfect what I really enjoy, and then give a lot of the other ones away. It's gonna be cool. Anyway, thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for checking out this video. I know it was maybe a little long, but I just love these knives. I've had so much fun this year with them, with the family, with adventures, with friends, making memories, hunting. Just the sentimental attachment to knives is what I love, is taking it and using them on really cool times with really cool people. And that's what matters. That's what makes it fun. That's what makes them want to stick around. All right, thanks for hanging out. I will catch you on the next one.